When 8 celebrities from around the globe are invited to compete in an online reality show, they soon realize they are actually fighting for their lives and the whole world is watching. Today we will explain a 2019 crime horror titled Funhouse. Get ready for some spoilers, take a seat and enjoy. As a lady bashes another with a baseball bat, billionaire Nero Alexander sits comfortably in his chair leg on leg, gazing at a phone in his hand. She comes to a halt and stares at him, but Nero encourages her to continue. The lady takes out a knife and begins slashing the body violently. While he is watching her chuckle, she falls on the floor and begins to cry. On Nero's command, his guard places a bag full of cash in the woman's arms and brooms her away. The billionaire then scrolls through his phone looking at top 10 fails at fame. Nordin Casper, a guy from a failed celebrity list, wakes up in a weird darkly lighted room and begins examining his surroundings with a puzzled look. He notices a welcome note beside his pillow. Through the speakers, a voice welcomes him and tells him to dress and go to the common room. His advisor tells him about a new reality program in a flashback. Casper refuses to participate, but his advisor urges that he do so since it may be the key to his fame and prosperity. When Casper walks outdoors, he notices a few other people. As more individuals arrive in the common area, they seem to be as perplexed as he is. It's revealed that they, too, awoke one day in this home with no idea how they got there. A screen in front of them lights up, welcome them to the fun house, where they'll be broadcasted across the globe. After that, the celebrity competitors are introduced. An animated panda comes on television and introduces itself as Furkas, explaining that viewers will vote every 3 days to choose who will go until a winner is selected. If 2 competitors are tied for last place, they will face a challenge to choose who will remain. Gina inquires about the security cams. They're concealed everywhere around the home, according to Furkas, and the recordings will be blurred while they're in the shower, but they can turn off the blur function. The competitors begin to enjoy their time in the home. While Ula and Headstone begin dating, new friendships are formed between the others. Every day, they are brought to a confession chamber and forced to talk in front of the cameras. Casper and Lonnie form an instant connection in the first few days. They discuss their previous television programs, both of which were unsuccessful. Furkas displays the votes via the screen 3 days later, with Ula at the top and Lonnie and Nevin at the bottom. Furkas speculates that disabling the blur function in the shower must have helped Ula. Since Looney and Nevin have a tie score, it's time for their challenge, which has been advertised as a piñata bash. The Funhouse assistant leads the 2 to the challenge room. As their task starts, the competitors are shown Lonnie through the glass. A piñata is dropped next to her. Once she is unable to see, the piñata is lifted up, and a tied and gagged Nevin is placed directly next to her. The others get enraged and begin screaming and pounding on the door of the room, while Lonnie begins unwittingly hitting Nevin with the baseball. The others are watching in horror as he slowly and painfully dies. Nero is shown to be in charge of Furkas. He informs the terrified competitors that only one of them will make it out alive of the funhouse. If anybody attempts to flee, they will be given the most horrible execution possible. The funhouse is being deemed a staged production, according to the remarks of a YouTuber on the program. People can't believe they saw the abuse in real time. Dex says they need to get out of the area. He breaks the glass hoping it will be his escape route. However, as soon as he walks inside the room, the sky, which turns out to be a projected picture, vanishes to expose a roof. Nero's men arrive, they shoot him in the leg and kidnap him when he refuses to leave. The others are forced to witness while a bound Dex is dumped into a drum filled with powerful acid. As his skin and bones dissolve in the acid, Dex yells in pain. Although the media has recognized that the Fur Mansion is a cruel torture chamber, viewers still believe this is all staged. Furkas comes on the television and instructs everyone to remain aware of Dex's punishment. Instead of joyfully asking for votes in the confession room, the competitors weep and plead for them on live television. Darla, Casper's famous ex-wife, speaks about his lovely nature, pleading with Furkas to stop the game, but the sadist is just amused. The competitors do their hardest to remain calm and follow the insane man's instructions. As the days pass, Furkas reappears and informs everyone of the results of the most recent voting. This time, Kat seems to be on top, with Ula and Gina at the bottom. Ula expresses her displeasure at receiving the same score as Gina. Furkas announces that their next challenge will be the blind rage. The females are handed axes in the challenge room and instructed that after the lights go out, they must fight blindly until one of them dies. The girls begin swinging their axes, And after a lot of action and drama, Ula wins the fight by slicing Jima's skull in two. Ula becomes desperate for views and believes that her body is her only weapon. Later she tries to seduce Casper. She kisses him and begs him to make love to her, claiming it may give them enough votes, but Casper gently declines. From the entrance, Headstone sees their closeness and rushes in, seizing Casper by the neck. When Lonnie steps in, Headstone lets him free and walks away, enraged. The following day, Furcas announces their revised votes. Casper had risen to the top, whereas Ula had fallen to the bottom. The spectators were tired with Ula's presentations, according to Furcas. Ula is brought to the challenge chamber, where she is given her task. She has under 2 minutes to match a set of her Instagram pictures. She comes close to winning, but she still has 2 pairs to match as the timer runs out. Furcas says that she must now select her destiny by spinning a wheel. The black portions symbolize a slow and agonizing death, whereas the white parts depict a fast headshot. Her challenge will be passed on to the next competitor with the lowest votes if she lands on a golden section, and she will be safe. Ula approaches the wheel and spins it, but it falls on a black section, which is bad. She then battles Nero's minions, but they defeat her and knock her unconscious. She finds herself spread-eagled on the ground with her limbs tied as she wakes up. Her limbs are progressively torn apart as the straining causes her to scream in pain. The participants are handed photos of their loved ones the following day as presents. They begin to weep as they realize they would never see their families again. Casper is sobbing next to the pool. When Lonnie approaches him, he informs her that it doesn't matter if he lives or dies. He'll always be known as Darla's ex-husband since no one is expecting him at his home. It's time to vote once again. The top turns out to be Casper, while the bottom turns out to be Headstone. The task for Headstone is then revealed. It's a death match. 4 lethal warriors are shown on the screen, and the audience is given the option of voting for his opponent. The ferocious opponent is selected, and the battle begins. Headstone succeeds in winning the fight, making everyone else happy, but Nero then devastates everything. He sends 3 more warriors into the fight with Headstone, and they kill him. As Casper sits in the common area, Furcas comes and inquires about his thoughts. Casper expresses his curiosity as to what sort of person he must be to get pleasure from seeing innocent people die. Nero informs him that these individuals are worthless failures who rose to prominence through no fault of their own. He claims that scientists and innovators are deserving of their renown. Casper tells Lonnie that he's happy he had the opportunity to meet her. Lonnie expresses her feelings, and the two end up spending the night together in bed. The next morning, the votes show that Casper has retained his lead, while Cat has finished last. Furcas announces the chess master's challenge to the cat. Nero quickly defeated Cat with a checkmate. The FBI was able to monitor the funhouse location while Cat was playing against Nero. She is then pushed behind the wheel to choose her destiny. She spins it and it lands in the golden spot, keeping her safe and shifting the penalty to Lonnie. The minions go for Lonnie, but Casper stops them. He begs Nero to let him take her place, and Nero agrees after some reluctance. The FBI is spotted approaching the funhouse as Casper is brought to the challenge room. Nero mentions that he sets the rules, therefore Casper's next opponent will be Lonnie. He hands them guns and instructs them to stand shoulder to shoulder. In a handgun duel, they must kill each other. On Nero's command, the two of them stand back to back and begin moving forward. Meanwhile, the FBI agents see that the area is booby-trapped and ready to explode, so they step back. They are at a wrong location anyway. While clutching the weapons, Casper and Lonnie exchange nods. They drew their weapons to their chins and pulled the trigger, killing themselves. As a result, Nero declares Cat the winner. Then we see Cat being questioned by the FBI, but she seems to have no idea what's going on. At the very end, Cat appears with Nero. They kiss and converse. She warns him that the next time they play chess, she would not let him win. She seems to have been an insider the whole time, collaborating with the ruthless Nero. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. See you later.